Did you know that studies suggest excessive masturbation can lead to feelings of guilt and shame, particularly in individuals with strong religious beliefs? It's a topic that stirs a lot of debate. Today, I want to explore this topic from a Christian perspective. Masturbation is often viewed as a taboo subject in the Christian community, and it's something that many people struggle with. But what does God have to say about it? And how does it affect our spiritual lives? In this video, we'll explore 9 clear signs that masturbation might be killing your spirit. I think it's important to acknowledge that the Bible doesn't explicitly mention masturbation, but we can look at the principles and values that God teaches us and see how they apply to this topic. As Christians, we are called to live a life that honors God, and that means taking care of our bodies, our minds, and our spirits. It's crucial to recognize that masturbation is not just a physical act, but it also has spiritual implications. When we engage in masturbation, we are making choices that can either bring us closer to God or drive us further away from Him. So let's dive in and explore these 9 signs that masturbation might be killing your spirit. When we engage in masturbation, we can start to feel guilty and ashamed. This guilt and shame can lead to a disconnection from our faith. We might start to feel like we're not worthy of God's love, or that we're not good enough. This can lead to a downward spiral of self-condemnation, and it can be really hard to shake off. The Bible teaches us that we are made in the image of God, and that we are worthy of love and forgiveness. But when we're stuck in a cycle of guilt and shame, it's hard to remember that. We start to feel like we're living in secrecy, and that no one can know about our struggles. This secrecy can lead to a sense of isolation, where we feel like we're the only ones struggling with this issue. And that's simply not true. There are many people who have been where you are and have come out the other side. Guilt and shame can also lead to a decrease in our spiritual disciplines. We might start to feel like we're not worthy of praying or reading the Bible, so we stop doing those things. And that's exactly what the enemy wants. When we're in a state of spiritual disconnection, we become more susceptible to the enemy's attacks. We start to believe the lies that he tells us, and we begin to feel like we're not good enough for God. Masturbation can lead to a decrease in self-control, making it harder to resist other temptations. When we engage in masturbation, we're training our brains to crave instant gratification, and that can lead to all sorts of problems. We might start to crave other things that are not good for us, like excessive screen time or overeating. We might even start to pursue unhealthy relationships or engage in risky behaviors. The Bible teaches us that self-control is a fruit of the Spirit, and that it's essential for living a life that honors God. But when we're lacking in self-control, we become more prone to making choices that are not in line with God's will. Habitual masturbation can impact our personal relationships, creating barriers to intimacy and connection. When we're used to getting our needs met through masturbation, we might start to feel like we don't need other people. We might become isolated and stop engaging in activities that bring us joy. We might even start to feel like we're not worthy of love and connection from others. The Bible teaches us that we are designed for community and that we need each other to thrive. But when we're stuck in a cycle of masturbation, we can start to feel like we're not worthy of community. Masturbation can also have psychological effects such as anxiety and depression. When we engage in masturbation, we're releasing certain chemicals in our brains that can affect our mood. We might start to feel anxious or depressed, and we might not even realize why. We might try to self-medicate with other things, like drugs or alcohol, but that only leads to more problems. The Bible teaches us that God is our healer, and that He wants to bring us freedom from these struggles. But when we're stuck in a cycle of masturbation, we might not be open to His healing. Masturbation can distort our understanding of sexuality and God's design for relationships. When we engage in masturbation, we're creating a false sense of intimacy, and that can lead to unrealistic expectations about sex. We might start to think that sex is just about pleasing ourselves, rather than about building intimacy with our partner. We might even start to view other people as objects, rather than as people made in the image of God. The Bible teaches us that sex is a beautiful gift from God, and that it's meant to be enjoyed within the boundaries of marriage. But when we're stuck in a cycle of masturbation, we can start to view sex as something that's all about us. Masturbation can interfere with prayer and spiritual growth, creating a barrier to a deeper relationship with God. When we engage in masturbation, we're making choices that are not in line with God's will. We might start to feel like we're not worthy of praying or seeking God's guidance. We might even start to feel like God is distant and that He's not interested in our lives. The Bible teaches us that God is always with us and that He wants to have a deep and intimate relationship with us. But when we're stuck in a cycle of masturbation, we can start to feel like God is far away. The potential for addiction is another sign that masturbation might be killing your spirit. When we engage in masturbation, we can become addicted to the feeling of pleasure and release. We might start to crave it more and more, and we might even start to use it as a way to cope with stress or anxiety. The Bible teaches us that we are meant to be free, and that addiction is not part of God's plan for our lives. Finally, masturbation can lead to unrealistic expectations about sex and intimacy, impacting future relationships. When we engage in masturbation, we're creating a false sense of intimacy, and that can lead to disappointment in our future relationships. We might start to feel like we're not experiencing the intimacy we want, or that our partner is not meeting our needs. We might even start to feel like we're not worthy of love and connection. The Bible teaches us that God is our ultimate source of fulfillment, and that He wants to bring us joy and satisfaction in our relationships. But when we're stuck in a cycle of masturbation, we can start to feel like our partner is our only source of fulfillment. In conclusion, masturbation can create a cycle of isolation, distancing us from our faith community. When we engage in masturbation, we're making choices that can either bring us closer to God or drive us further away from Him. We might start to feel like we're not worthy of community, or that we're not good enough for God. We might even start to feel like we're living in secrecy, and that no one can know about our struggles. But the truth is, God wants to set us free from these struggles, and He wants to bring us into a deeper relationship with Himself. He desires to use us to bring glory to His name and to build His kingdom. Let's summarize the key points we've made about the spiritual implications of masturbation. We've talked about how it can lead to feelings of guilt and shame, decrease our self-control, impact our personal relationships, and distort our understanding of sexuality. We've also explored how it can interfere with prayer and spiritual growth, lead to addiction, and create unrealistic expectations about sex and intimacy. And finally, we've seen how it can create a cycle of isolation, distancing us from our faith community. I hope this video has been helpful in shedding some light on the spiritual implications of masturbation. I want to encourage you to reflect on your own struggles and to seek God's guidance in your life. If you have any thoughts or experiences you'd like to share, please leave a comment below. And if you're interested in learning more about maintaining spiritual health, be sure to check out our channel's playlists. Thanks for watching. God bless you always.
I appreciate you taking the time to watch and be here. If this video resonated with you or touched your heart, please consider supporting the channel by buying me a coffee. Simply scan the QR code or click the link in the description below. Your generosity keeps this mission alive. See you soon. God bless. If you're looking to overcome depression and anxiety by strengthening your spirituality, I invite you to check out my ebook, Soulful Transformations, Bridging Faith and Mind for Lasting Wellness, available on Kindle. This book combines cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, with biblical wisdom to help you manage stress, tackle anxiety, and find lasting peace through faith. It's not just about mental health. It's about deepening your relationship with God and transforming your life in ways that inspire others. Check the description below for the link and take the first step toward a life of spiritual and emotional wellness.